Hi friends, welcome back. Today's video is about the dream meaning of seasons. So for example, if you're dreaming and you notice that it's winter time or summer, what does that mean? What could that mean? But before we get started, I want you to see my new plant. Isn't this beautiful, guys? Just had to show you. I love plants. That one is fake, but this one is real, and it's just gonna sit here, make the video prettier. Okay. It's too close. Okay, so if you're dreaming about a season, what could that mean? And remember that when we want to interpret the dream, we always want to think, what do we associate with that symbol? What could that mean to me? What's the universal meaning? But what does it also mean to me as well? Because if you're a person that loves winter, it may have a very positive meaning for you, whereas someone else who hates winter, it's going to be more negative. Remember that there are universal symbols, but then that there's also particular meanings to you that may be a little different, will affect the dream meaning. So let's start with spring. When we think about spring, we think of newness, right? Everything's just coming alive, and it's just like a new year, new season. So we can think of new beginnings when we are thinking of spring, something that's just starting in your life, something brand new, and that's just beginning to grow, beginning to develop, something that's blossoming. There's a lot of flowers, right, in the spring, and so something that's just now you're being able to see the beginning phases of it. It could also mean that you're entering into a new phase of your life, something brand new, new career opportunities. It could be just a new relationship. Maybe you are falling in love or something, and there's just an exciting time in a relationship. It can also mean just a fresh start in a relationship, not necessarily a brand new relationship, but maybe you've had problems in your relationship that you've overcome, and now there's a new beginning for you. You could dream of spring. So, but generally it's a good dream. The other thing is that in the springtime, there's a lot of growth. There's a lot of development, right? So it could be that there's a lot of growth in some area of your life. You're noticing a lot of growth, and it could be within you, just like character development. You could just be growing as a person, your character, growing in wisdom. Anything in your life that is showing positive growth, you could represent that with spring. Okay, now let's think about summer. What do you associate with summer? If we think about it, summer is a very warm time of year. It's hot, it's fun, it's, you're going to the beach, you're getting outdoors, you're having a good time. It's just a really happy time of year. Unless, of course, you live in Texas, where I live, where it can be too hot and then it's kind of miserable. So if in your dream you're just too hot and uncomfortable, it could be that you just are under a lot of pressure in the dream. It could have a negative connotation, but for the most part, dreams of summer are going to be very optimistic. It's going to represent joy, happiness, love. So it is just a joyous, pleasurable time of year. You may have a dream of summertime if you are experiencing closeness in a relationship, where you're really feeling loved. You're really just enjoying time together. You are somehow really enjoying your life, whether that's in a relationship or not a relationship. So summer is a good dream to have. So fall, on the other hand, if we think about fall, we can think that, fall's like the end of summer. So if you're dreaming about fall, there's something is ending, perhaps. It represents the end of a fun time, of a pleasurable time in your life. Maybe you're noticing something coming to an end, maybe a situation that's coming to an end, and you can see that. But it can also not just represent like an ending, but maturity. So we harvest things in the fall, so things come to fruition. So maybe you are reaping the fruits of your labor, or something that you've planted and it's grown during the summer, and now you're noticing that you are somehow harvesting that. You know how like you reap what you sow, good or bad. So in the fall, I mean, to me, I feel like it could have a very positive connotation as well if you think of maturity, something coming to maturity. But it's typically going to have a little bit more of a bleak outlook, because in the fall, you also notice that winter's coming. And so you kind of are getting yourself ready for the harshness of winter. So it could represent a season of preparation, something where you're noticing a transition and a situation is actually devolving. You kind of see it getting worse, or you see problems ahead in some aspect of your life. Again, could be career, could be relationship. Sometimes just it can just be like a foreshadowing of problematic situations that you see on the horizon, basically. Winter is a cold, harsh season. So if you're dreaming of winter, it could be that you're facing a lot of challenges and hardships. You're noticing that life is very difficult. You're having difficulties. It could be, whether it's like ill health, whether it's financial problems in relationships. Again, in the winter, things die. So it could be like the ending of a relationship. It could be, also, there are things that die in the winter, but there's also things that go dormant. And so a lot of times in the winter, if you're having a winter dream, it's not so much that something is dying, it's more that that you feel stagnant, you feel stuck, like you're not making progress. You're just stagnant and you can't seem to get out of a rut. So you may have a winter dream because you're in a situation that you don't really like, but you feel stuck in that situation. Whereas the summer dream is pleasurable, the winter dream is like harsh and difficult, and you're having to endure circumstances that you don't necessarily like. However, you could have a positive winter dream if, for example, it's a beautiful winter scene and maybe you're seeing like snow that's falling. That to me represents a blessing, because snow is there's just that purity of the white snow and the beauty of it. So it could represent like a blessing that's coming out of the hardship that you're dealing with, a really something that beautiful that's coming out of a troubled time. That's what I would think, and a very, very valuable blessing in your life that has come out of a difficult time. Also, you might have a dream in the winter where you're seeing the snow melting and winter coming to an end. And of course, that would be a really good winter dream, because now you're getting out of the stagnation. This harsh situation is coming to an end, and it's showing you that you have a new beginning ahead, that there's a new phase coming, something bright. So, whereas winter could represent sadness and hardship, depression, if you dream that it is coming to an end and the snow's melting and spring is coming, then that would be really good, because again, it's coming to an end and there's brighter days ahead, is what that would mean. So, anyway, guys, I hope that helps. I do think that for each one of those dreams, there should be a particular prayer that you pray. So, for example, in the spring, your prayer, since it's a time of growth and newness, you would pray for God's blessing to help things develop as they should, right? To not abort this beautiful thing that's happening in your life, whatever that is. Whereas in the summer, you want to also pray, I think, for like protection, to protect this wonderful season in your life, to not have it cut short, but to give you wisdom to really make the most of it and to prolong it for as long as possible. So, wisdom on how to handle the blessing that you're experiencing, because you know the enemy does like to bring problems, right? So like, for example, if you're in a relationship where you are really happy, then pray to ask the Lord, like, how can I keep this going so that I don't let the enemy in and start to cause problems. And then, you know, if you're in the fall, if you have a fall dream, hopefully the prayer is just like, I would think, like, again, one of preparation, because I think that the fall really represents more than anything kind of a transition time, and asking God for help through whatever difficulties and to mitigate whatever difficulties might be coming ahead for you, for wisdom on how to deal with it. And then if you have that winter dream, well, just pray for God wisdom on how to get out of it, how to get out of the stagnation, the isolation that you might be feeling, the depression, or the just the hardship. Wisdom on how to deal with that they could come to an end very quickly. So that's my advice, and that's what I think those dreams means. I hope you have learned something about your dreams, about seasons, and how to interpret them. Until next time, sweet dreams.